Time. You're good.
uh,
Just in case you
I
forget. Well,
actually don't see where to change my name.
let me see if I can help you. Hold on, buddy.
I think I got it. Maybe.
Three dots and then
Yeah,
rename.
rename. Got it. Thanks.
Perfect. Got Nick. Good, good. Welcome everybody. We've got a great one for you today. I'm going to be on the learning seat today, and I'm excited. Not only do we have Nelson with Agent Fire, but we've got Nick, and we're going to be talking about PPC, really leads altogether with Nick's company, Driven Leads, and how they function within the Agent Fire world. Nelson, what do you got for us, man?
I think that's a better question for Nick. Nick is the. I'll give him a quick intro since I think a lot of you guys know me already. So I'm Nelson. I'm the owner of AgentFire, and yeah, I reached out to Nick. We do a lot of we have a lot of mutual clients together. Nick is the CEO owner of Driven Leads. My opinion, if you're looking for paid PPC, Driven Leads is the best place to go. And yeah, with that, I'll just hand it over to Nick so he can give a better intro.
I appreciate that, guys. Yeah, I'm Nick Kremer from Driven Leads. We're centrally located in the Midwest, as we were saying before the webinar. We've been doing marketing driven, been running Driven Leads for 15 years in the real estate industry, starting all the way back the days of the Jeff Mansons and the real geeks of the world, and honestly have been seen it all, done it all, and seen the advent of the ups and downs of Google, the ups and downs of Facebook and Microsoft, and really today we're going to talk about what we see. We've worked with, like we said, over about 700 clients in the past 15 years. We've got actively about 140 at all times we have across the country, and work with some really large teams. And we see a lot of success from those teams, and we see a lot of we see the rights and wrongs to do things, and really that's what we're going to be talking about today is going through that. So I'll share my screen here, get sort of started. You guys tell me if you see this all right.
I got you. PPC secrets of the real estate's top 1%.
There you go. So that's what we're going to be covering today. So I'm going to start out with taking a couple of assumptions, and this is kind of what we talk with when we're on the phone with them when they're asking us about about what to do and should I generate leads? Do I do it through Google? How do I do that? The assumptions are kind of non-starters, and these are things that you should again these one percenters, these top teams are doing. They've got their proper systems in place. So they've got the Agent Fire, Follow Up Boss. They've got the drip campaigns, they're calling cadence, they're texting everything down. So there's not
Yep.
unknowns there. Everything is as it should be, which is huge, right? Their follow up is right. Conversion tracking, which doesn't sound like a big deal, is a huge deal, and that's something that we work diligently with Nelson and his crew to make sure, like with Agent Fire, we're tracking everything, getting credit where credit's due, and then we're tagging all those leads. So you'll be able to see in your lead system where that lead came from, what city they started their search with, what kind of search were they starting it with. And then number four is a big thing that I think everybody needs to kind of wrap their minds around is understanding what a lead is. A lead's an opportunity. It's not a deal. It's not, it's not signed here in 30 days we close. It's an opportunity for you to make a call, to reach out with your systems and to start to nurture that. So a lead is not a deal. It's an opportunity. And that's what those one percenters understand is they understand that if they generate 100 leads today, the reality is 1 to 3 to maybe 4% of those are going to end up, one between 1 and 4 deals are in there if their systems in place. We see some really good agents that do higher, but we always tell people look at it and say, I'm going to have a 1% conversion rate, right?
Yeah, if I could even just chime in real quick, what Nick's sharing here is so important for people to really understand. And you'll see constantly, I'll see pretty much every hour in one of the Facebook groups, someone is asking about real estate PPC, Google PPC, so and so's experience with this company, with this company, with that company, and you'll see that there's people that have great success, and there's people that don't have good success, and like universally across the board, like everyone that's having good success has good systems dialed in. Like if you have a good system dialed in, that means that every single lead, I mean, you literally probably have like 4 to 5 times the probability of closing a lead if it's getting drip emails, if there's an immediate follow-up system that's happening. When you have the whole system set up and optimized, every single lead is essentially getting like your what's the word I'm looking for? You get multiple at bats with a lead, and so you want to make sure you just maximize there. If that makes sense. I'm
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
brain farting. Yeah.
For sure. No, you're fine. And that's kind of goes into this next slide. Like agents, they're focused and they know their numbers. It's a consistency. We tell everybody you can't turn something on and say in 30 days, well, I don't have a deal in my pocket. I'm sure you don't. This is the longest cycle of a sale ever for any lead generation on the internet. We do consulting for some pretty large groups outside of the real estate industry, and for landscapers, it's next day. They get that deal. They're in the yard the next day. With real estate,
Yeah, true.
you really have to be consistent. You have to have your goals in place, and then your expectations have to be, hey, I'm not going to get a deal tomorrow. Now, we've had clients in the last 15 years that, yeah, they close $1 million deal 5 days into running the program. It's bound to happen at some point, but that's not something that you're going to try to bank on, right? So we tell people, if you're going to run Google Ads, you probably want to run it for 90 days, right? Give it 90 days. Look at look at those leads in your system, what your hopper is looking like, how many are warm, how many conversations are you having? And then you can start to formulate your plan from there of how many you should expect as you go through that. So setting that consistency, setting those clear goals, and then expectations. A lot of information is on the internet. Whether it's good information or bad, we don't know. There are not $5 leads out there like there used to be in 2020 when when everybody was searching for real estate and nobody was leaving their house. So the other set that we talk about is, if you're in Indianapolis, you're probably going to have cheaper leads than somebody in Scottsdale. It's the difference between a $200,000 house and a $1.5 million house. So those numbers are always going to be fluctuating as well. So I think having that understanding and expecting, having those proper expectations of what it's going to cost for your market and what it's going to cost, for you to be successful.
Quick question, man. This is just out of curiosity.
Sure.
How many how many other verticals are you currently helping? Because you mentioned gardening, so like home service
Well,
providers, right? That's kind
yeah,
of
we're so we do consulting for other marketing firms that sell their ads marketing. So we teach other people how to run Google Ads and such. We work inside landscaping, roofing, law firms, Botox company. So we've got a bunch of different companies that we do consulting for and sort of help them day-to-day operations. We run that. So it keeps us on our toes. It lets us sort of see what other people are doing. And then as new systems come out like Google or YouTube, we're able to see what's that look like in that industry and how's that work back for real estate. Some of them are easier, some of them are harder. But we like to be able to have a broad brush to be able to paint with to understand what's going on in other markets. So yeah, we work in a lot of verticals.
I like that, man. All
Yeah.
right.
So as we look at this, there's some other things that you can look at that are really important. And really, when I talk to people about Google Ads, we always tell them everything changes. So a couple of years ago, we wouldn't be talking about local service ads, and then 2019, the world gets local service ads, and everybody jumps in, right? We didn't really talk about Google Business Profile a ton, where that is probably your central location of what you have to have as an owner, as a business owner, as an agent, or as a team leader, is to have that GBP. So that has to be healthy to be able to run your local service ads if you run them. And we see a ton of value in that. Things have changed in the local service ads, and that might be another thing to talk about at another time. But we always tell people you got to have these things. You got to have your GBP, your LSA is important to use. Obviously, we're making the assumption you have an AgentFire website that connects up to all these. And then Google Ads or Microsoft Ads, you can run both. And YouTube channel. YouTube channels are, you have to create content. And I'm saying that to Nelson and Tristan, and they are the kings of content. YouTube channels are so powerful. And that is the second largest search engine in the world. So we can't sleep on those YouTube channels. And I'll show you an example of what we're seeing in YouTube here in a second. But these are things that if you don't have these locked up in your sphere, you got to get these things set up and going. The Google Ads and Microsoft Ads, you can or can't do it. I'll show you a little bit of that. Well, a lot of times we talk to people that have limited budgets, and we'll kind of expand on what that budget looks like. If you have a limited budget and you've got an AgentFire site, get your Google Business Profile set up. You can turn on local service ads. That's a pay per lead. That's not a pay per click. So you only pay when you get those phone calls coming in. And then YouTube's free. You can create that channel and start getting getting good content in there and start getting organic traffic, and you could drive leads that way. We see a lot of people that make a good amount of money on YouTube. You have to be consistent in YouTube, and you have to be patient, because people don't show up at your channel tomorrow. They take time. So you got to have that consistency on that. So that's what we kind of talk about. And the limited budget people, you can do this stack $500 a month on top of your AgentFire site and have all that going. 500 for local service ads is a good budget to have. So when people are talking about limiting, because it's changed in 15 years of how much money you can start out with. And 15 years ago, we could start with a $500 budget. Now we tell people it's closer to 1,000 to 2,000 that you want to be able to invest in Google Ads to make sure you're seeing a return and seeing that repetition. Again, each market is a little bit different in what you see. Then as we talk about what's working in Google Ads right now and what isn't, we talk about Google's a living, breathing thing. They're going to change the target at all times. Every 6 months, they have a new iteration coming out. And there's a new one that just dropped recently that is not good for real estate. And we'll get into that a little bit. Running search campaigns out of the gate. When we run with our clients, we're doing that traditional search. We're running it as a manual bid is what it would be called. So we're doing traditional search, manual bid. And then as we go, we might be running max clicks. There's a couple of campaigns that you can change into, and then max conversions. And what all that means is we're telling Google we want them to spend as much as we can to get as many clicks as we can. And once you get conversions running, you can shift your campaign into that max conversion and say, hey, I'm comfortable paying $20 a lead. I want as many conversions as possible, as many leads as possible at that $20 a bid. And that's that max conversion where you could put a TCPA, which is a target cost per acquisition is what that means. Another big thing that we talk about, and again, when you're talking about Google, it is the alphabet as they're called. It's a sphere. So you would want to have your YouTube channel connected to your Google Ads account. Your GBP, having that GBP connected allows you to show up in the map pack. And we have a lot of people that come to us and ask about map pack. There's a lot of unknowns about that, right? So the truth of the map pack, and you'll see right here that sponsored ad is the third part of the pack. That map pack, there's no campaign that you can just go in and say, I'm going to show up in the map pack. You've got to have it connected to your GBP. It's got to be a clean GBP that has good amounts of, as you see here, 63 reviews at a 4.9, that helps. And then it's just, it's doing the proper ad campaign. So you're running ads, you're saying agent in, McKinney, Texas is one that I picked up here. And none of these are, I just pulled this out of the hat. None of these are my clients. I'm not advertising for anybody right now, but this is how you show up in map pack. So these people are obviously, the McDonald group are showing up and they're doing the right things by having the proper campaigns where it's agent, best agent in McKinney, Texas, realtor in McKinney, Texas is what this search is. And this is an ad where you're paying to be in that sponsored spot, which is extremely valuable. They're getting action. Yeah, Tristan.
I have a question for you, man.
Sure.
And this is more just watching what's happening with ChatGPT's
Yep.
ranking in the most visited websites in the world.
Yep.
My concern is how does that challenge Google, and how do they change for opportunities for us, or does that open up ChatGPT for us to promote ourselves through that in the future? What are your
Yeah.
thoughts on that? Just sidetracking, because I was watching this, I'm like, dude, this is good, but there's a challenger.
Yeah, what happens when that challenger happens? Yeah, great question. So it's having that connected. ChatGPT, all it is it's a concierge to search the internet. So if you tell ChatGPT, I want to find the best realtor in McKinney, Texas, or a realtor in McKinney, Texas, more than likely they're going to have these response. You'll need to have everything the way it's supposed to be, because it will show up and will use Google in this instance to show you who are the top agents, who are the ones with the most reviews. So if you asked ChatGPT to show you the best, the highest reviewed or the most reviewed agent in McKinney, Texas, it's going to show you that stack. It's going to use Google Business Profile for that.
Mm.
So Still relevant,
Still
still going to
Google.
be there.
Still goes back to Google. So work on Google. That's so funny.
Yeah. It all goes back to Google. As much as everybody wants to say it's possibly in the past. I mean, the internet still ran in that search directory where there it's going to go out and look. No, it might look in Microsoft and it could look in Apple. There are Microsoft and Apple profiles that you need to set up for your business as well. There's not just Google Business Profile. There's and they're different names. I don't remember those off the top of my head, but we'll go out and check when we're setting up an account. If they're doing Microsoft ads, they need to have that set up just the same as Google Business Profile. So and those are all free to set up. So again, a lot of the stuff that you're doing is free. So these three people on the top are showing up not paying, and then that sponsored one is the one that's paying, and that's just a simple Google Ads campaign is how they're
That's
showing up on
cool.
that.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say also too, real quick, just regardless who you are and where you are, there's a question I get a lot is where should I be collecting reviews? Zillow, Yelp. You definitely want to be on Zillow, and you 1,000% now want to be collecting reviews on Google, a
Yeah.
1,000%. Even if
Yep.
you're not running LSA right now, if you're not, optimizing your profile right now, 1,000% every successful transaction that you close, you should have a process in place to get those people to leave you a review on Google.
Yeah. And to show you how powerful the Google Business Profile is, and kind of going on a sidebar with Google Ads, you can connect up your Yelp, your Facebook, all your reviews, like your Zillow, you connect that up into GBP, and that shows on the lower end, here are all the other reviews they have is there as well. So Google's really, they put an emphasis on it. They believe that GBP is social media, even though nobody else does. But what's good for them is great for us if you're doing everything that they want. So posting your YouTube videos on there, posting, if you've got a good deal, if you had a great deal or a new listing, doing those posts on inside GBP is powerful, and that's how you show up in this kind of stuff. So, and show up in the Chat GPT stuff as well.
Yeah, I
Do
would
you
bet
guys
my entire career, you'll see listings on Google like within the next few years.
Yeah.
do you guys help with setting up the business profile as well or no?
We can help direct it. I know Nelson's group has a solution that they offer to invigorate it or improve it or perfect it, so to speak. If we have a client that comes to us that doesn't have it, we'll set it up for them and walk them through it. It's pretty straightforward. Local service ads, same thing. There's some scary stuff to set up. You've got to get your E&O insurance. You got to show your business license and all that stuff. So we help clients set that up too, kind of as a concierge service to getting them going. But yeah, there's a couple of hurdles on that, but really anytime we talk about this is stuff you can do on your own. You can obviously find somebody you can pay to do it. We'll do it for you. I know Nelson's got stuff that they help on the GBP to improve. It's something that's important to us. It's something we didn't talk about 2 years ago. Now we're like, hey, we lead with you have to have these things. If you don't have these things, your Google Ads campaign might not be as successful as it could be. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
those
mention
are
quickly, we have an ongoing, we just rolled it out. It was in a like a beta phase for a little while. We actually put a pause on it. I feel like this is going to sound like a sales pitch, but we had like too many people sign up for it. So we paused it. This is, we're going to probably have it paused for another month or so while we get the current flow on board and everything. If you guys are interested though, regarding GBP optimization, because we get a lot of questions about that. I think there's people that have a lot of interest in that because that is when it comes to like real estate website SEO, that is probably the big opportunity right now. If you guys would be interested in me doing a webinar just on what is required to handle ongoing GBP, Google Business Profile optimization, maybe just let us know in the chat, and yeah, if we see enough interest, I can get something queued up for next month.
Yeah, one question that came through on this is somebody just texted me directly instead of using the chat. So here's the question.
Sure.
What if you're on a virtual brokerage? Well, what address do you use if you have no address but your home?
That'd be a good question for someone who's so we have an expert who's running this stuff on our end. I'm actually not sure because I do think you need a
Yeah,
physical
neither do
address.
I. I had no
Yeah.
answer for that one.
Because
You can have a
yeah.
physical location. You can use your home. I honestly, I don't hate that idea. I mean, you just what they're going to require is you to have signage and stuff. So you would create signage and kind of show it as, hey, this is where I'm at. You do need that physical location, so it can be your home. You can also gone are the days of using a post office box. That's how people used to do it. So Google's getting a little bit more tight with that. I honestly don't think there's anything wrong. And if you do a location search, you'll see people a lot of times residentially, they have their GBP is their residence. Not the end of the world, not perfect, but at the same time, it's not it's a physical location that shows that you have to have something like that.
Yeah, I think like as part of their verification process now, which just changed recently, they
Yep.
require you to send in a video, right? Where you're
Video.
like actually, yeah.
Yep. Yep. Here I am in my office. And then
Yeah.
literally they're showing you that put up signage and have signage or take a photo and create signage with AI of showing signage at the front door and stuff like that.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, that works. I mean, I don't see that as black hat. I see that as kind of a gray hat. Like it's your physical location. It's where you work. You're giving them what they want, right?
It's a great idea, Nick. Take a picture of your front door,
Yeah. And
have
then
AI add your logo. It's like
yep.
there it is.
Yep. And submit it and say, here it is. This is us. So
That's so
that's
funny.
kind of how you do it.
Brilliant.
So yeah,
I would
transitioning from the GBP side, we got some exciting stuff to show. The YouTube ads. So we do YouTube ads, and again, as Google shifts, people say, that YouTube ads, there's no money to be made in it. Well, here's the last 30 days of one of our clients running YouTube ads, and he is running listings, and he's actually doing really well. This is actually just a retargeting, remarketing. So this is not new traffic. This is traffic that's been on his site, might be not in his database yet. We also send that traffic to people that are in his database. So anytime they jump back onto the site, it's saying, hey, Nick was back on your site, looked at that listing you had. So they're generating conversions at a great clip. Like this is an anomaly. And Nelson wanted me to show you guys. So let me
I
get you
love that.
what this looks like here.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of just live examples.
So this is an example of that video.
Yo, guys, Kevin Zero here.
Oh, I'm not able to see it. I don't know if
Are you able to see that?
Can't see it.
Good.
Spectacular 24805 Lower Trail.
That's super secret, everybody. Super secret.
So freaking cool. So big picnic, inside, outside living.
Oh, you guys can see it? I can't see it.
Entire
I can't see it. No.
You can't see it?
You can see
No.
Trying to get that to show. Let me. Can you hear it? Let me see. Sorry about that, everyone.
Could hear it, yeah. Well, I could
I
actually
can
hear it
hear
from
it.
your speakers, though.
You could hear it in the speakers? All right, good.
Yep.
Let me share this now. I'm going to share the proper screen. My apologies. All right, how we doing now?
Yep, there we go.
Yo, guys, Kevin Zero here with the C Group today. I can't wait to show you this spectacular property.
I think because it's a video, it's also a little lagged. So maybe we just throw a link in the chat if that's okay.
Yeah, I'll get you guys that. That'd be. Let me get you that. I'll toss
So yeah,
that
link.
in the chat.
Nick had sent me a few links for different video ads his clients are running, and this is one of my favorites. I thought the length was great. I thought the script was great. I'm pretty good at this stuff at this in terms of like just script writing and understanding what are the sort of the formula for an effective video. And I thought this one was just really good. So yeah, Nick just threw it in the chat there, so you guys can click it and check it out.
Yeah, let me get back to my stuff here.
Sure.
All right, you back on this? Good.
Yep, I got you. I can see the why YouTube ads.
Yep.
This
Branding and reach, massive reach. Second
This is-
largest search engine in the world, right?
This is amazing, dude. Now I'm assuming you're gonna get all sorts of leads from this buyers and sellers. So
Correct. Yeah. And honestly, you're getting leads, but at the same time, you're going to a listing appointment and saying, hey, I can get you in front of, 446,000 impressions. So that's how many times that ad showed up and people had to click through it. You're also showing in YouTube now, you can do YouTube TV advertising. So if you want to look like the big kahuna in your market, you can take that and jump into YouTube TV. People are watching the NBA finals and your ad shows up. I mean, it's not that expensive either. You're looking at the cost of it. Cost per click is cheap, cost per view is low. It's, we see it sometimes if you're doing remarketing, retargeting, you can get as low as like 6 cents a view. So to have people see that video pre-roll and pop in. Very inexpensive. And then you're going to have people saying, gosh, I see your stuff everywhere. YouTube's massive.
Yeah. I love that piece, dude.
So it's not going anywhere anytime soon. Now, my 15-year-old child told me nobody watches YouTube, but that's because she's on TikTok. So she also doesn't have any money to buy a house. So who cares what she does, right? Now that might be a problem later. And you can do TikTok advertising. That's just the same as everything else.
Yeah.
But
I still know that YouTube is where the money is. YouTube
yeah,
and Facebook,
yep.
right?
Yep, for
So,
sure, for sure. So there are a lot of potholes in the world of Google. Google is not your friend, it's not your partner. Google's customer is actually the person searching. We're just the oil that they're mining to get to, right? So we are the money that Google makes money off of us, the advertisers, but they don't really care about us. They care about their searcher. Um, that being said, there are a bunch of campaigns and styles out there that Google, if you went and set up a Google Ads account today, they're going to want you to put you in a performance max. They want to put you in a demand gen or a smart campaign. AI Max is another new one out there that, again, they're potholes. They're a good way for them to spend as much money, much of your money as possible, and not really worry about you getting leads or not. So when we talk to people about Google Ads, we explain ourselves as an internet traffic broker for these top agencies, right? They spend a lot of money in their digital stack, and we're making sure they're spending it in an intelligent manner and right. So, Performance Max 2 years ago came out. It was a huge money grab for Google. Great for them, right? Nowadays, we're testing it, and that's why I say every 6 months, Google is reinventing themselves. They're giving us more guardrails that we can put up to limit how much bloat of spend that they have. It's still 75% of your spend in Performance Max can be spend that you don't want to do because it's showing up in YouTube, showing up in display, and then showing up in search. And we really just want to do search, or if we're doing display and YouTube, we want to do it on our terms and the way we want to present it. So that's a big thing that is important for you to realize is when you're working inside Google, Google is not your friend. They're going to call you and tell you that you're missing out on opportunities. You're not. You're doing fine. Stay the course.
Can I
So,
share real quick? I wish you and I had had this conversation a few months ago because
right.
AgentFire, we spend about 100K in marketing every month. And so when you start to kind of reach higher levels and spend, you'll actually have people from Google reach out to you. And I think even at lower levels, we've had people reach out. And long story short, we had someone from Google reach out. They were supposedly with their it made it sound very exclusive. They work with 3 clients per quarter, and they had us dump a whole bunch of money into performance checks and Performance Max and Demand Gen in particular. And we had
Yep.
we just wasted I want to say even possibly close to $100,000 over many months. Just absolutely wasted. Where after things just weren't working for long enough,
Yeah.
I talked to someone, and the Demand Gen in particular was just total garbage. Performance Max will literally just run campaigns targeted to your brand, so you'll think you're getting conversions, but there's no way to distinguish that from
Yep.
the actual conversions that you want. And so anyway, that's my little horror story. Do not
Yeah.
Google is definitely not your friend.
You went to Google College and paid dearly for it.
Yeah.
I did the same thing 20 years ago when I was
Yeah.
running web hosting. I did the same thing, burn up a ton of cash. You learn on the fly, right?
Yeah.
So what doesn't break, it makes you smarter. But
I paid enough to get an honorary degree from
yeah.
Google University. Yeah.
Yeah. When anybody ever calls you and tells you they're from Google, if you're spending a good amount, like Nelson said, they A, don't work for Google. They actually
Yeah.
are a consultant. And they B, don't know what they're talking about. They're just reading a script telling you that you need to spend more and you're missing out on impressions. Just hang
Yeah.
up. It's easier that way. I mean, we get a ton of calls from Google every day because we have so many accounts that we manage. So they're not fun. So going into this and trying to button this up for you guys and getting started in Google Ads, it's as easy as going to ads.google.com and then avoiding the smart campaigns, right? Don't set it up with the special guidance. It's not going to help guide you anything. It's just going to again point you in the direction of spending money and not doing it right. You know, again, we talk about your budget. You guys, we keyed on how much do you need to spend, depending on what market you're in. You can get away with $1,000 budget or $1,500 budget in a place where you're selling an average of 175 to 225 on your home sales. So the great thing is that you can use real estate, the housing prices and the sale prices as a guideline as to what would it cost for me to do this. I always use Indianapolis and Scottsdale as those examples because they're two extremes. Google's still an auction. So depending on how many people are out there in that auction wanting to get their space and what they're willing to spend. We used to see it back in the day where you would average, let's say, $1 a click, and then somebody would sell $1 million house and they would throw $15,000 into Google Ads for a month. And that dollar click went to $1.35, $1.40 is what Google was saying you had to have. And then that person would run out of money and it would go back to normal. So there's ebbs and flows like that. You'll see that thing. You'll see seasonality where if there's a lot of people searching in the spring for homes, then there's a lot more traffic and traffic isn't as expensive. So there's seasonality in that Google search, and there's always things changing. What we always tell people is always have your conversion tracking set perfect and properly. Your budget is going to be based on where you're at and what you want to do. Don't cast too wide of a net. So if you've got a $1,500 or $2,000 budget, don't say you want Phoenix Metro. It's not going to work. You might start to say, with people that do really well in these top agencies, they're having communications with us every month and sometimes more often when we're making adjustments, but they're going after neighborhoods. What are the top neighborhoods? What are the top suburbs that have the most sales and have the most volume, have the most inventory when inventory matters, right? You can also go as deep as, when my Florida agents, I always tell them that's like shooting fish in a barrel for them, because you'll have a Florida agent that relocated from Maryland and then they're on the Eastern Seaboard. We can run traffic just to the Maryland area. Anybody in Maryland looking to move to Florida in their area of Florida, let's say, they're in Punta Gorda, right? Or if they're on the West Coast. So anybody that comes in there, they know all those leads are tagged accordingly, so they can speak to them and say, hey, I moved from here 15 years ago and I wish I knew this place, this place, this place. So there are a lot of things you can do with Google. You can set times and places you want to run stuff. You can extract stuff and say, I don't want to run in this, or I don't want people searching for this to show up. That's the beauty of Google. There's always new things that they're bringing out that we talk about. There's emerging trends that change. So a lot of times we'll have people that have struggled with Google running it because they ran it 5 years ago and now they can't get it to work. Well, it's completely different. We could go out and do a whole lesson plan on how to run Google Ads, and in 18 months, you should never look at that again, and that actually should be taken off the internet. So when you're looking at tips and tricks on YouTube, this is one for you guys, for everybody out there. Go and make sure that is within the last year of that video being created. Now, the YouTube creators will trick you and say what to do in 2025, but that video is from like January of 24. That's not good anymore. So make sure when you're looking at those videos that they are new videos with some actual clout from those people that know what they're talking about, because things change all the time. So if you're trying to run this yourself, or you got somebody in-house that's running it, make sure that they're on the up and up for that kind of stuff, because that stuff's important. So
Good point. Very good point.
It's kind of my spiel. It's kind of what I have for you guys today. I know it's trying to drink from a fire hose, and I tried to get it all in there, but
This is great. I have a couple of questions here.
Sure.
Personally. We've had amazing success with Google PPC and meta ads, I guess, meta lead ads for real estate specifically. So buyer and seller. What does it look like to contract your company to run PPC and meta lead ads so that they run through AgentFire? Because we're just building our site with AgentFire, by the way. This is a selfish question, Nick.
Yeah, great question. So the way it looks for somebody like us is we would get on an exploratory call and sort of run through what you wanted to run. If you're looking to do kind of that whole evolution of running Google Ads, possibly doing some YouTube stuff, doing Meta, and you're doing that remarketing, retargeting, something like that we run. We call that our Market Premier package. It's $1,500 a month. We don't do any contracts or any setup fees. It's just straight out. We'll manage all of that for you. We set budgets with you. Open lines of communication. All of our top clients communicate with us. What are the leads like? Because we're tagging those, right? You're getting those tagged in your follow-up boss. So you're seeing where that lead came from. Was that a Meta lead? Was that a Google lead? And we didn't even talk about Microsoft. You know who's on Microsoft? Old people with money. So if you want to do a two-sided deal, there's a lot of people in there that are looking at buying this and selling this.
And the military, everybody that works for the government, right? They're on their team.
Yep. Yeah, we got a lot of clients that we do PCSing with. So another great example is if you communicate with your digital marketer and tell them, hey, I'm in San Diego and I got a lot of people coming from Colorado Springs or Virginia Beach. You run ads just in Virginia Beach and Colorado Springs talking about like San Diego homes for sale and mention PCSing in that ad. I mean, you're going to get a lot of people that like their ears perk up. Those military people know, hey, they know what I'm talking about. They're ex-military. They understand what I need and what I'm going through as a family. So that's stuff that we really key on with our clients and making sure that we're not only generating leads and again, you don't want to just, it's not a mass amount of leads you're generating. You want to generate good leads where you want them, how you want them. You know, making sure that we negate the terms cheap, foreclosure, short sale. Unless the client wants those leads, we don't have any of those in that. If you don't want condos, don't run ads for condos. So we get pretty specific, and everything's customized, right? Everything's built for the client the way they want it.
I like it, man. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
What have you seen as the best success when going the route of all the stuff that you put out there? And I know
Mhm.
it could be different depending on the team and the area, but what have you seen as the best success? Why do people have the best success with this stuff? What's the number one reason?
Because they set that importance. So great question. It's you have to, if you're feeding a team, right? You're feeding them these leads. They too often we see agencies that are like, well, if it's not a Zillow call, I don't want to deal with it, right? So setting that expectation with your team and saying, hey, these are leads, the intent is high. It's a high search intent in Google. They're looking for homes for sale in XYZ. So making sure that they understand that your client or your agents, or if it's you or if it's your ISA, whoever's following up on these leads, understand that it's a high intent. It might not be something that closes tomorrow, but it's highly, it's a volatile system and you have to work on it at all times. People that we see with most success, again, this goes back to like how we've changed over the last year. You know, sitting here a year ago, we would say, hey, let's get you set up with an ads account. We wouldn't talk a ton about GBP. We wouldn't talk about LSA. We've seen a mass exodus of people out of LSA, and it's been great for our agents. We have some agents spending $10,000 a month in LSA, some that are spending 1,000, some that would love to spend unlimited money because the lead quality is so high. It's much like a Zillow Premier, but you don't have to pay anybody for it.
Mm.
And people have left because of the fact that you can't dispute leads anymore. Well, you can't. There's no disputing. It's called rating. So if you have a moving company that calls you through your LSA and you're charged $50, $60, you go into that lead and you rate it and say, this was a vendor, they give you your money back. So there's a lot of people out there talking about LSAs aren't good anymore. I've got a couple agents say, quit telling people that LSAs are still good because their spend is going up because people are leaving the LSA game. So we always tell people now, start with your GBP. That's got to be on point. Get your LSA going, and then we get going with Google Ads. So that's stuff we help with that Market Premier is getting all that stuff lined up and making sure you're running in the right direction.
No, I like that, man. Thank you.
Yep.
And yeah, thanks for explaining that one, Nelson. LSA equals Google Local Service
Local
Ad.
service ads.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's good. I like that. All right. Anything else? Nelson, anything I missed?
No, I'll just mention, I'll just say quickly, this is why, I mean, Nick is, I mean, way, way, way smarter than I am when it comes to everything marketing related. And this is
Google,
why
yeah.
AgentFire is set up this way, where, we focus on the website and we leave the PPC to the experts. And it's just been our experience that our clients have just a much better experience with PPC when they're working with a trusted expert third party versus if like AgentFire were to try to set something up. So yeah, mix them in, and this is actually great for me too.
This
You
is
know,
good.
I'll end it with this, Nelson. We've been working with you guys for what, year and a half, maybe? And AgentFire is a great solution that came to us and said, hey, this is what we're trying to do. We worked with them on making sure we can get that conversion tracking set perfect. And they have done nothing but improve their conversion rates. So yeah, as they've grown, as they've gotten better, they care about that. We love working with groups like AgentFire that really dig into that and own the fact that not only is the site got to look good, but it also has to convert. And there's some sites out there that look great but don't have any conversion tracking and don't convert. AgentFire is one of those shining beacons in a storm that you can go to and know that they're going to continue to improve their product, and they care about that conversion tracking, which that's huge to us.
Thanks, man.
That
And so,
makes sense.
yeah, maybe to put a ribbon on today, Nick, would you want to just go over what pricing looks like to work with driven leads, and then I'll also
Yeah.
just
So
mention
that,
quickly, yeah, for
Oh
anyone
yeah.
watching for the replay, I'll in the next 24 hours, AgentFire will send out a replay. I think Tristan's team sends out a replay. You'll get like 5 different replays, so don't worry about that.
sure. Yeah. And again, to work with us, it's pretty straightforward. If you want to do just Google Ads, it's $600 a month. If you just want to do, any of that, you can do bolt-ons with it. We usually have people that'll come in and we'll do that market premiere because we'll take care of their LSA, help them with their GBP, run YouTube, help you with your YouTube channel. That market premiere is $1,500 a month. Again, no contracts, no setup fees. We're working as a partnership. So we work really well with, if you've got a listing coordinator you're trying to do all your marketing with, we're their
Mhm.
savior. We'll help them with their digital stack instead of them worrying about doing and wearing all those hats. So that's kind of what we do. If there's something that you want us to do that might not have been mentioned, jump on a call, we'll walk through it. We can help you out with anything.
I
Can I
love
ask
that.
also, like, well, why don't you guys do contracts? And I obviously know the benefit of not doing
I
a
don't,
contract.
so
Yeah.
I started this along, like this is day one we started doing this. The no contract thing is big for us because we don't want somebody speaking poorly of us 3 months into it and saying, well, I'm stuck with these guys and I can't leave and I'm paying them money and I don't think they're doing anything for us. We're not the perfect fit for everybody. And we know that. So we don't push sales. We just basically say, here's what our service is. We'll go through that exploratory call. And we want them to take that first step because I don't want to go to a dance with somebody who doesn't want to dance with me, right? And it makes that relationship that much better. We also want everybody to know that we're looking out for their best interests. We're spending their money as conservatively as possible. So for them to think, well, I'm just throwing money at these guys and they're not helping me, we don't like that feeling. And if we have a bad month, we've had times where we'll just give them the next month free because we didn't think we did everything we were supposed to do. So that's pretty common with us too. It's the Midwest kid in me. I want everybody, like, handshakes are as good as a contract in my opinion, and we want you guys to feel comfortable knowing that you've got somebody that's leading your digital stack in a way that we care.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
cool.
that, man. And you don't see that often, so thank you, Nick. I appreciate that.
It's super rare, especially because also, you have a lot of people that I'm sure will sign up that just, it's 30 days. They haven't really given it an opportunity and they're looking to pull the plug. And it's kind of it's not even really a fair handshake at
Yeah,
30 days. But I
and
guess
that
that's,
happens.
yeah.
Yeah, and we understand real estate. We've been in it for 15 years, so all of my employees understand the real estate terminology. And if somebody has a couple of deals fall through and they've got to pause, go pause. We're fine. You
Yeah.
can always come back. We'll pause it and we can run as soon as you get back to where you need to be. So we understand real estate pretty intensely on that side of, hey, we get it. Things happen.
And so drivenleads.com,
Yep.
is there a particular email people can write in if they have questions?
Drivenleads.com, sales
Yeah.
at drivenleads.com. If you go to drivenleads.com and fill out that form, you're going to talk to this is my life hack for the day. If anybody wants it, hire somebody with your same first name. So you're always talking to Nick. You might be talking to Nick Kremer. You might be talking to Nick Carlton. So we've got 2 Nicks on staff. I know a bunch of people have been duped by that, not on purpose. It's just I hired one of my friends and his name was Nick. So you'll end up talking to me or him on the sales call. He's a great dude that is readily available at all times. But yeah, just go in and fill out that form, and we'll walk you through. We can answer questions if you're not a good candidate to work with us. We can point you in the right direction or say, do this, not that, or help you with certain things. You can also go and look up Driven Leads on YouTube. We've got some videos out there on do this, not that, what's working, what isn't. So there's always stuff out there that we're not doing a great job of getting new content. I'll start doing that. That's kind of one of my goals for the next quarter is to get more content out for what's changing in Google. So we try to stay up to date on that as well.
Thanks, man. I loved it. I took some notes, learned from this.
Awesome.
Nelson, thanks for bringing
This
this
was
one.
great.
I love this
Yeah,
one.
yeah. I'm trying to, most of these LCA webinars we've done have been to promote different sort of philosophies of AgentFire, and this is, I'm really happy with this one because this ultimately is our open philosophy, right? Where AgentFire is just, we're going to focus on the website and we're going to connect you guys with the top experts and teams for PPC, CRM, and everything else. So, yeah, I think this was great. Hopefully people got some value. I noticed we had the attendance just kept rising, and then it usually with the webinar, attendance kind of tops out at some point and then just,
Yeah.
But web attendance was actually just steady throughout and even kept increasing a little bit. So that's the first time I've actually even seen that in a webinar. So I think
Great
it was a good one.
topic.
Yeah.
Great topic. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Thank you,
Okay.
guys. Have a
Thanks,
great
Nelson.
weekend. Happy Father's Day, you guys.
See you,
Happy
Lauren.
Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.